Hello, in this video I'm going to go through what's new in version 2.5 of the SMARTree release. So there are quite a few new additions to the software in this version, and the most obvious ones I'll go through right now. There's a few others under the hood, but these additions have been made to really just help the user work even more efficiently, access data as they need it on GitLab. And one of the new exciting features that we've added is actually embedded math. And yeah, so what I'll do now is I'll just kind of walk you through what's basically been added to the front end. So here we have our SMARTree libraries, and I'm just going to pull in a very simple tree. So here's a very simple tree right here. So the first thing you'll notice is with version 2.5, if you select on an item now, you'll notice the jog window is no longer present on the right. So what's been done in order to give you more visual access to your data on the right and not have the jog window cover anything is we've basically put all of the jog elements right in line with the actual element itself. So you'll see now the logic element, the lock element, the indent and outdent are now right next to the data where you're working. The other thing you'll notice is now your data is directly editable right on the tree itself in terms of the titles, and you can easily access that. And another nice feature is I've added these nice little buttons on the right here to allow you to easily turn on logic conditions, on the fly inside the software. So that's basically what that does. So if you want to see this in operation here, you can simply indent and outdent items here. Of course, you can still drag and drop. You can apply logic on the fly, or you can lock elements. So the jog element is now removed, and now we have everything in line. If you want to edit something in here, you can now do that in line as well. So it's very nice and streamlined in terms of how it works. The other nice thing you'll notice here, as I mentioned, is the logic elements are here. So you can access them by holding down the shift button and clicking. And what that does is it will open up another window, and in that window you'll have all the details about that particular element. So here we have a selection, and we can edit the selection here and apply logic here. So by holding down the shift or control button or double clicking, you can actually open this up. So if you hold the shift button down over the titles, it will open it up, or if you double click the element itself, it will actually open it up as well. So that's kind of what's new here. In terms of the logic, we'll get to that in another video, but we've also expanded the logic features as well. So the next thing that's new in version 2.5 is this new ribbon right here. And this is what's called the Smart Select ribbon. And so the Smart Select ribbon allows you to select from any of your data in your libraries without having to go inside your libraries. So for example, if I click on the first tab drop down here, here are all of our smart tags that are in this library. So there's quite a few in here. So I can pick from any one of these. For example, I could pick from properties, and in here then it will pull the trees that have that are smart tagged as property smart tags. In this case, there's just one, but you may have material, and then you have all of your materials, for example. So let's go back to our property smart tag here. You can see this. Now you have the next tab changes as well, and that gives you the level access. So what does that mean? So if I click on a level, it then goes inside that smart tag or smart tree, and it looks at each of these levels. And these are the primary levels on level 1 of that tree. If I go deeper into the tree, then I have access to the individual blocks of data, and I can go further down into the individual elements, the actual values themselves. And so what can I do with this? Well, so for instance, if I'm in here and I wanted to add some mechanical properties, so if I can click on this right here, I click on any element, I can say I would like to add mechanical properties. What you've done now is you've added from the properties tree the mechanical properties block, and that's the entire block right there. You can undo that by simply hitting on the undo and getting rid of that. If you wanted to just add an individual piece of the mechanical properties, you could just add Young's modulus, you could add shear modulus, you could add basically individual blocks. So that is what the Smart Select feature does. You can also add the entire tree if you wanted to add a complete tree in here as well, and you can add any level of that tree. So this is a very powerful feature if you wanted to just dig from trees that you commonly access. So for example, if I am adding units, for instance, I can just hit on the units tab right here, and I can pick any one of these units. either blocks of units or individual units. So I can say, okay, I would like to add a unit of angle, and there it is, and there's your angle. Or I can add any other block in here. So if you're building materials, for example, it gives you a very nice access to any of the units in the units smart tagged tree inside our software. So that's a very nice, powerful feature that's recently been added. Another feature that's been added is under the Smart Tag window. And what's been added here is if you look down at the bottom here, here are all your Smart Tagged materials. And if I click on any one of these, or just even roll my mouse over any one of them, it will pull up in here on the left the particular SMARTree. So here I have access to all the materials, my polymers, my metals, fibers, and whatnot. So that's a very nice way to sift through all of your trees very, very rapidly, almost instantly, to dig out trees that have attributes that have these smart tags that you might be looking for data under. So that's another nice feature that's new in SMARTree version 2.5. So let me just clear this out and show you the next new feature. So the next new feature in here, and we'll just clear this as well, is math. So we've actually embedded math inside the SMARTree software. So what does that mean? So if you drag in this block right here, you'll notice that some of these elements have turned basically purple. And why have they done that? Well, the reason why is because now we can do math inside the tree. So how do we do math? You can simply, here we have a table. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to calculate the average of this column and this column. So what you can do is you can actually create another table. And all you have to do is add these operators to the title. So for instance, if I want to get the average of these two columns right here, I can just create a new table, put average in brackets, and it will calculate the averages from those two columns. And you'll see now it shows up basically purple, showing you that it's doing active math. Then you can also, and this actually you can keep going down the hierarchy. So what it's doing is it's doing math on the parent items of each item on the tree. So if I wanted to then multiply maybe these two values, I can simply do a sample area, in this case multiply, and it will actually multiply the data that's above it. Essentially, in this case, you've got these two values and it multiplies it. So now the nice feature in here is I can go in here and add data basically. I can add numbers in here. And by clicking off it, you can see here now it does the math. It does the average of that table, and it does the, in this case, the multiplication of that. So in this case, maybe I have a sample with a thickness and width variation, and I want to get the average thickness and width. I can do that in the tree. And if I wanted to get the area, here it is down here. So this is a very nice feature that's new to SMARTree 2.5, where you can do embedded math functions. Another added feature to SMARTree 2.5 is basically in the Git side of things. So if we go back to our libraries where we access Git, we have a few more buttons up here. One of them is now GitLab, and we've had GitLab or GitHub before if you want to add or access your GitHub libraries. But now if you click on the GitLab, it brings up this little option here where you say remote sites, and this actually pulls up any remote sites you might have. So in this case, it pulls up any sites that your libraries are connected to. And so you can see here, these are the SMARTrees associated with this library right here. So it's just a new feature to allow you to pull up very quickly what the remote sites are for the libraries you're working on as well. So that's some of the high-level functionality that's been added to 2.5, and I hope it makes working with the client a lot more efficient, a lot more streamlined. And if you have any questions, feel free to post them on the site or email them to me, and we can add those recommendations or features in the next release. So enjoy using SMARTree. Thank you.